I began to think about the Disney princesses in a different way recently, about them being real. And they're actually, Disney has its own jurisdiction and has for a long time. So are these princesses real and captured by the federal government under some kind of military warrant system? And then they create a bunch of different names under the straw man birth record, and those names attach to military warrants, but it all goes under Disney. So let's talk a little bit about these Disney princesses, where they actually came from. Disney movies are based on fairy tales. Okay, we know that. But many of the settings are brought to life through Disney animations. May sound fictional. The Disney princesses themselves have real backgrounds. Why would they say that? Whether based on real people or totally imagined, I think they're based on real people. Their heritage is often credited to the original author of the fairy tales and their culture. You might never be able to trust King Triton's underwater kingdom or the sweeping land of Ardenel, but you can check out these real-life destinations where the princesses came from. This goes along with my theory. Aurora from Sleeping Beauty, France. Sleeping Beauty doesn't expressly state it's set in France, however, there are several clues throughout that allude to that fact, including the playing of the French national anthem and the presence of the French symbol fleur-de-lis. So it's reasonable to assume the Princess Aurora comes from France. Although there's no specific destination in France where you can get close to her roots, the country is scattered with castles. I think what they do is they take children that are actually royal heritage from all over the world, bring them to America, and put them under a certain name where it says multiple minors. I showed that on my TikTok. Visit locations like Chateau des Angers and Castle Roquetat, I don't know how to say it. And you'll feel like you've landed at King Stephen's Palace. Mulan from Mulan, China. While it's debated whether Mulan ever existed, we do know for a fact the Disney version of the character comes from China. The film is set in the country's north during the Sui dynasty, when the population was under attack from the invading Huns. Mulan also features a couple of famous Chinese landmarks. Always look at the landmarks. Disney's fans and non-Disney fans flock to the Great Wall when visiting China. Not only was this featured in the movie, but it's one of the more impressive man-made landmarks on the planet. Cinderella, France. Now remember, Cinderella is kept in a castle, in a house, as a slave. She has two evil sisters and an evil, I think, stepmother. It's common knowledge that Cinderella is another Disney princess from France. We can tell from the chateau where she lives with her stepmother and stepsisters before marrying the prince. France is next to Spain, which has the Basque region in between it, and I do know that they have been studying the Basque for their ancient DNA. The film is adapted from the classic tale written by Frenchman Charles Perrault, or Perrault. Perrault is also responsible for several other fairy tales popular today. Snow White, from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Germany. She's a German princess. Now, they say there's no princesses left in Germany, but there's giant estates. And when I was looking up the recent princess held in custody by the U.S. federal government, her second name was Anna Sorokin or Sorokina. And then they make stories about Anna Sorokin, a fake German heiress. No, she's an actual German heiress detained by the federal government through Disney. Most experts agree that Snow White comes from Germany. In the original German tale, the evil queen, Snow White's stepmother, is actually named Queen Grimhild, giving away the story's German heritage. There are several differences between the Disney version and the original tale, so it's worth reading the original, just to be surprised. The stunning Bavarian castle, known as Neuschwanstein Castle, inspired another Disney princess's home, Sleeping Beauty's castle at Disneyland. So these places, you should look them up, find the parents of those children. These children are German law allows children to be detained indefinitely for their whole lives. Merida from Brave, Scotland. If there's one Disney princess that's very proud of where she comes from, it's Merida. Merida is Merida, sorry, I don't know how to say it. It's quite different from the other Disney princesses living in medieval Scotland. She's not looking for a prince, shoots her own arrows, and cares more about her relationship with her mom than boys. Scotland is an excellent destination and also has the Culloden Trust. When I found how many times they changed my name particularly, and found that there is a person named Alexander, he's called Earl of Ulster. Ulster's a bank, and then his children one of his children is Lord of Culloden. Culloden is a trust that's managed by the U.S. Trust of Boston and the Citizens Financial Bank in the United States, among other, the Royal Bank of Scotland. Scotland is an excellent destination if you're interested in seeing medieval castles, just like the one we see in Brave. So look up the names. Pocahontas from Pocahontas is from Virginia. Unlike other Disney characters, Pocahontas was a real person. I think they're all real people. I think that they're brought to America, undergone identity theft, name changes, and they just do it for wealth. I kept seeing documents that referred to people as banks, cash systems, or coin machines. And in Texas, there were some documents under levies that said that if someone used skill to trick a person, they could steal their money through levies. Unlike Disney characters, Pocahontas was real, associated with the colonial settlement at Jamestown. The village she was born in no longer exists, but was located in Gloucester County. Gloucester, when you look up this name, I pulled some consular birth records the other day, and it had Gloucestershire, and Gloucester is supposedly the parents, billionaire parents of somebody named Alexander Patrick Gregors Richard Windsor. Windsors are German. They're not English. And the Gloucester castle, or there's supposedly a curse. There's no curse. They just want the money. They're stealing estates. Although she came from Virginia, she was buried in England in the ancient town of Gravesend. I mean, that is bizarre. And many people who have followed my channel this whole time said that, they come from tribes where children were stolen. I believe that these children are stolen. They want children to do experiments on. And they want certain DNA that's different. I looked a little into Bigfoot as well, where they're claiming that Bigfoot is not really what they originally thought. Bigfoot is an ancient bloodline. Pocahontas may have been an actual figure. I'm just going with they are actual figures. Moana from Hawaii. This is interesting. One of the Disney's more recent characters, not strictly a princess, Moana is the daughter of a Hawaiian chief. This story is straight out of mythology, but a Hawaiian chief has, they have a lot of power to make decisions based on the tale of Maui and how he created the Pacific Islands by fishing them out of the ocean. This goes with the recent documents I found by a Disney personnel that was writing about, they were writing about a winter boy doll and how the doll had an inverted face. They were different. And then those documents went through Purge Studio. Purge is to eradicate or get rid of. It's marginalized people. I think these people are marginalized not because of their DNA differences, but because they look different, but they're marginalized because of their financial, how much money they're worth. Watching the idyllic island scenery definitely makes you want to jump on a plane. Okay. Ariel from The Little Mermaid. She's from Denmark. So, if you start to look into missing princesses all over the world, I believe that these are actual princesses with an heir, they're the rightful heirs to an estate taken from all over the world, or Disney claims they're from all over the world. In my own documents, it kept saying that somebody was signing it that was German. It said I'm a UK citizen, not a US citizen. And I don't even know if this is just made up so they can get the wealth, because I've traced my own lineage to, back to even before the Mayflower. So it doesn't make sense what they're doing. It just does not make sense. I think they're just doing it for wealth. Diana from Princess and the Frog, Louisiana. Tiana, sorry. She made waves back in 2009 for being the first African-American Disney princess. She hails from New Orleans, Louisiana, entangled in a mess. When you're in the system of the beast, which is the U.S. Social Security system, where they're giving you Social Security cards or numbers, where you're not even eligible for a number because you're actually not a U.S. citizen, it calls into question why I would say entangled. Handsome Prince Naveen. So, you'd have to look up all of these names to find out. Anna and Elsa from Frozen. They give you Frozen accounts as children so that your accounts are blocked so that they can steal your money. They claimed that I was the mother of my own child and that both of our accounts were blocked with Touchstone Pictures, which is owned by Disney. I just think this is how they're doing it. Because when you look up your liens and levies all over the country and you find hundreds and hundreds of them using different addresses, it calls into question, how are they doing this? The sisters are the princesses of a kingdom called Arendelle. Unfortunately, there's no actual place, but they think it's based in a Scandinavian country of Norway. The Disney art directors took inspiration from Norway when designing the background. Looking at you, Olaf, my cousin's middle name supposedly is Olaf. Belle from Beauty and the Beast. They're not showing that one. Takes place in France. Beauty and the Beast. The Beast System. Beast System. 666 is, you can say it's the number of man. You can say it's, other numbers. But it's really U.S. Code 666 is theft in federal programs. Theft in federal programs. Moreover, there are hints in the original film that revealed the location of the live-action Lumiere's strong French accent. Jasmine from Aladdin, Arabian Peninsula. I believe that these are based on actual princesses that are taken from all over the world. This is what I think. And I've looked up, there's a research study that goes through Disney Research where they're doing research on live human teeth. How are they getting these teeth? Rapunzel from Tangled, Germany. Tangled is you're tangled up. Everybody's selling you a stock on the stock market. And she has long hair. Back to the Bigfoot long-haired person.